to touch the fire. You know, just like when I was a child. In our house we used to have a fire with coal in England. When I was very, very small, they had a coal fire. And in the fire was glowing pieces of coal, glowing, nice yellow color. And as a child, I remember, what does it feel like? And I pick that up and hold it in my hand. And I went to touch this fire. And my mother, like that, I went to touch it. Because I didn't know. I remember my mother beating me though, I remember. Like this. And I didn't touch it. But later on, there was a cover. They would put a cover there. It had glass, metal box, with glass. So I touched the glass. And burned like anything. Burned my hand. You understand? So the fire does not discriminate. The fire doesn't say, oh, it's only a child, I won't burn. Well, the child doesn't know anything. I won't burn the child. No, fire burns fire. Whether you know or you do not know, it will burn you. Therefore, it's like fire. It's like fire. So Srila Prabhupada said, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, it doesn't matter. Because it's a fact. Krishna is telling it's a fact. Try to see it. You know, if you touch that fire, you will be burned. So similarly, you may think there is nothing after death. You may think so, there's nothing. You can do as you like. You can do any crime you like. Doesn't matter, they won't catch me. There's nothing after death. There's no crime. Who will punish me? Finished. It will be finished. Like this, but here it says, this is not a fact. This is not a fact. So Dr. Benford, he doesn't argue. He accepts. Okay. He says, so Dr. Benford said, why does a person like me, someone who's trying to understand the world rationally, seem to find no way in which to do it? You understand? Dr. Benford is a scientist. He wants to think logically and rationally. And he wants to understand the world and how things are going on. So he's asking, well, how to do it? It seems very difficult to understand what's going on here in this world, isn't it? So Srila Prabhupada answers him. He gives this answer. He says, you are trying to know things rationally, but you are not going to the proper teacher. You want to understand things rationally. You want to understand things correctly, but you are not going to the proper teacher. You see, proper teacher is required. Proper teacher. But Dr. Benford replies, but I feel that by studying the world, I can acquire knowledge, and there is a way to check that knowledge. You formulate hypotheses, you perform experiments, you verify your ideas, and then you see if you can use these ideas in the practical world. You understand? This is the so-called scientific approach. We will make experiment, research. And in this way we'll come to know things as they are. Like this, we will verify our ideas by experimentation. Like this. Srila Prabhupada says, That is one more kind of ignorance. That's another kind of ignorance. Because you do not know that you are imperfect. Dr. Benford replies, oh, I know that I'm not perfect. He says, I know I'm not perfect. And Srila Prabhupada says, then what is the use of your trying to study the world? This way and that way. If you are imperfect, the result will be imperfect. You understand? Because you are imperfect. No matter what you do, your result will be imperfect. It doesn't matter. By your speculation, manodharma, it will just have imperfection. You're thinking that you will come to complete knowledge by research, by the advancement of technology. You know, like they're advancing in technology so much technology is here now. But has the world got any better? Have things better through technology? Or you may say, but we have got very good trains now. Then we can all go to work on a train, you know, hanging on the side, like this. Or you may say, oh, we are very, very equipped now. We have got India, nuclear weapons. Yeah, push button and we can kill million people. Like this. So you may say, our technology is very good. But actually, what is your understanding of this world? What is going on here? Why are you suffering? This by your research? What research can you do? Into afterlife, into where you are going. What can you do? So Prabhupada is saying you are imperfect, and therefore your result of your so-called research will be imperfect. It will be imperfect. You think by technology you'll be more happy, but are you becoming more happy? Are you becoming more peaceful? No, we're not becoming more peaceful. No. The doctor agrees, I'm not perfect. And Prabhupada said that what is the use? What's the use of trying to study the world this way or that way? If you are imperfect, the result will be imperfect. And Dr. Bedford says that is true. He's a scientist, a physicist, and he's admitting, yeah, it's true. If you want perfect knowledge by experimentation, you're a fool. Because you're imperfect. Therefore, how to get perfect knowledge? And Srila Prabhupada says, so why waste your time? Why waste your time in this? And Dr. Bedford says, but there doesn't seem to be any other way of finding knowledge. You see, he has not had a good teacher. He thinks that the only way to find knowledge is by experimentation, research, and mental speculation. Mental speculation. Like this. So Prabhupada replies to him, even for material knowledge, you have to go to the university and consult a professor. You know, how did I learn to read and write? By experimentation? How did I learn to dress myself? I had to be shown how to wash myself and everything, how to eat. I had to be trained. What knowledge do I get by experimentation? General knowledge, anything knowledge. Reading and writing. Can anybody just learn to read and write by experimentation? No. We had to have a teacher. You went to school. And for higher education, you have to go to university. And you have to learn from professors to study anything. Medicine, engineering, law, physics, physicists. So Prabhupada is explaining, even for your material knowledge, you have to go to university. Similarly, when you want to learn spiritual knowledge, perfect knowledge, you have to approach a perfect teacher. You have to get the teacher who teaches the perfect knowledge. Then you will get perfect knowledge. Then you will get perfect knowledge from the perfect teacher. Dr. Benford said, but how does one know when the teacher is perfect? How do you know when a teacher is perfect? You go in a college next door, downstairs or something, which one is perfect? How will you know that the teacher is perfect? Huh? And Srila Prabhupada said, it is not difficult. It is not difficult. A perfect teacher is one who has learned from another perfect teacher. Think about it. A perfect teacher is someone who learned from a perfect teacher. Perfect knowledge comes from a perfect teacher. And if I'm speaking it, I'm giving perfect knowledge. But Dr. Benford says that is merely removing the problem a step. You understand? He's thinking, well, a perfect teacher is someone who's heard from a perfect teacher. But who's the perfect teacher? And Prabhupada says, no, because there is one perfect teacher. There's one perfect teacher, Krishna, who is accepted by all classes of teachers. There's one perfect teacher who is accepted by all classes of teachers. In India, we still find the Vedic culture, which is taught by Vedic scholars. And all these Vedic scholars accept Krishna as the supreme teacher. They take lessons from Krishna and teach that. Why is Krishna perfect? Because he's God. He's the supreme. He's not suffering from mistakes. He doesn't have mistakes. He doesn't become illusion. He's the master of the creation. Therefore, he knows how it works. He knows everything. He's sovereign God. Therefore, if we take lessons from Krishna, we get perfect knowledge. And Krishna, he taught this knowledge to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma heard this knowledge from Krishna. And Brahma taught it to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni taught it to Vyasa. Writing. You understand? And it comes in parampara. That parampara knowledge. You understand? So this knowledge is coming like that. There's a perfect knowledge. It's coming from the perfect teacher, who is Krishna. It's not coming from any ordinary man. If it was coming from any ordinary man, why would we care to hear it? Why would we care? If it's just an ordinary man, it ain't perfect. Mental speculation. Why should we care to hear it? No, we care to hear it because it's coming from Bhagavan. It's coming from God, from Krishna. Therefore, we accept it. And if somebody speaks that knowledge, their knowledge is perfect. Can you understand? Because they're just repeating the perfect knowledge. Dr. Benford says, so anyone I meet who accepts Krishna as the perfect teacher, he is a perfect teacher? So it's asking, so if somebody is just repeating Krishna, they're a perfect teacher? And Srila Prabhupada says, yes, because they are teaching only Krishna's teachings. That's all. That's all. They may not be perfect. They may not be perfect, but whatever they are speaking is perfect, because it is taught by Krishna. I may not be perfect, but what I'm speaking is perfect, because I'm speaking what Krishna is saying. I'm repeating it. Therefore, the knowledge is perfect. I may not be perfect. Then you are not perfect. Dr. Benford asked Prabhupada, then you are not perfect? And Srila Prabhupada says, no, I am not perfect. None of us claim that we are perfect. We have so many defects. But because we don't speak anything beyond Krishna's teachings, our teaching is perfect. We are just like a postman who brings you a money order for $1,000. He is not a rich man, but if he delivers to you the envelope as it is, you are benefited. He is not a rich man, but if he delivers to you the envelope as it is, you are benefited. He is not a rich man, but his perfect dealing, his honest dealing is perfect. Similarly, you are not perfect. We are not perfect. We are full of imperfections. But we don't go beyond the teachings of Krishna. That is our process. And therefore, our teachings are perfect. But you have to think about this. You have to think about this. You understand? The example of the postman is given. The postman may bring for you a check. You understand? And if there's a check for 1 crore rupees, like this, the postman doesn't go, oh, I'll alter the check. Put my name on it. You understand? He doesn't do that. He gives you the check as it is. He does his job honestly. And that is how he is perfect. He's just repeating what Krishna says, which is perfect, valuable thing, very valuable thing. He's not giving manodharma. He's not giving speculation. He's not saying, well, maybe this or maybe that. We're simply saying, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dehi noshminyatade. You see, that you are spirit soul and you are going somewhere else according to your activity in your next life. You understand? So we are just repeating what Krishna says. We are not perfect. But what we speak is perfect. Therefore, someone who speaks what Krishna is saying is called the perfect teacher. He becomes the perfect teacher. And not only is he speaking, he's not just speaking, he lives in his life. He puts it in his life. He sees that. He sees it that way. And he's a perfect teacher. Okay? But this is how we get perfect knowledge. By hearing from such teachers who are simply repeating what they have heard from their teacher, who have heard from their teacher, who have heard from their, who is ultimately Krishna. Krishna is the original Adi Guru. He's the Adi Guru, the original Guru. He's the one who's given this knowledge, and we're just repeating this knowledge. Okay? Thank you very, very much for being so good boys. You're very good, but you're all very attentive, and I thank you very much. Does anybody have any question? It's simple, isn't it? Huh? Who will ask? 20. I've been speaking for 40 minutes.
What is the perfect knowledge?
Perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge means that it does not have any fault. It is faultless. And of course, this knowledge that Krishna is giving, Krishna says, I will impart this knowledge onto you, complete knowledge. And by knowing this knowledge, you will become free from any doubt about it. You will have no doubt about it. You understand? If you follow this knowledge that Krishna is giving, you will have no doubt about it at all. All of your questions will be answered. Every doubt will be removed. That is the result of hearing from the perfect teacher. The perfect teacher, he knows all the answers to your questions. He knows that. Because he's heard this. I'm reading these things to show you how my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, he was answering all questions. And some people came there and they would listen. They wouldn't go away. Some people just heard and they went away. But some people stayed. Some people stayed with Prabhupada and they heard regularly. They heard. They listened very carefully and they heard again and again and again. This question, this question, this question, this question, this question. And gradually, all the doubts about it finished. You understand? You understand how it is? If you hear regularly, you hear perfect knowledge, then all your doubts about it will be finished. You understand? All doubts, because in the temple, we are meeting so many doubtful people. People are coming and giving criticism. How can you claim this? How do you claim it? And the devotees very, please excuse me, it is not our opinion. It is the words of Krishna. I am not saying, Krishna is saying. Krishna says like this, like this, like this. And gradually, they accept. Even this Dr. Bedford, he had to accept. Yes, I'm imperfect. I am imperfect. And even though I'm making mental speculation, manodharma about things, it will never come to perfect knowledge by that process. You will never get perfect knowledge. The only way you can get perfect knowledge is from hearing from Krishna. Krishna can give you perfect knowledge. The Vedas, compiled by Vyasadeva. But you have to hear from the perfect teacher who is speaking the Veda as it is. Who's speaking the Veda as it is. He's not changing it, not adding anything to it. You understand? You have to hear from teacher coming in parampara from Krishna like this. Then you get this knowledge. Okay? Huh?
Usually I have a question. The question is, if a teacher, whatever has been told by Shri Krishna,
As?
the information that has been given, okay?
You have to speak very clearly.
Just you go ahead and speak.
You come here. There you go. Speak into this microphone so everybody can hear you.
What I'm trying to say is, whatever knowledge has been given by Shri Krishna, he is the Adi Guru. So basically, he gives all the information, and you have to follow it. A guru, if he fails to implement, if a guru fails to implement whatever is given by Shri Krishna, would he still be a perfect guru?
Will he still
Be a perfect guru?
be a perfect
A guru. I mean, can you consider that person as a perfect guru?
If he fails to give perfect knowledge?
No, if he is giving the right information,
Yeah.
but he fails to implement it.
If he fails to implement it?
Yeah, that is what I mean.
Hare Krishna. So his question is, Hare Krishna, that if somebody is taking position of teacher, of guru, they're taking the position of a teacher, of a guru, but they themselves are not following the teachings of Krishna. They're not following. They may speak the teachings of Krishna, but they are not following the teachings of Krishna. Correct? And you're asking, is he still a guru? Is he still a real guru? Am I doing that thing? So, what's the answer? Just like if my father tells me, my father is smoking cigarette. He's smoking cigarette, my father. And he says, hey, you should not do any smoking. Don't smoke. Smoking is very bad for your health. Isn't it? So can he teach that thing? My father was a smoker. He used to tell me, oh son, don't smoke. Smoking is very bad. But my father was a smoker. He died of cancer. He died from smoking, cancer. So he did teach me something. Smoking kills you from cancer. But could he teach that? No. He can't teach it. You understand? You can only teach something that you follow yourself. Unless you follow it yourself, how can you teach it? Isn't it? If I tell you, you should not lie, but I'm lying like anything, will you believe me? No. You can't. You can't teach something that you do not follow. It cannot be done. It's not correct. It's not correct. So, but I may not be perfect. I may not be following something, but I can point you to the teacher. I'm not so good devotee, but he's a good devotee. You hear from him. I can be honest about it. I can be honest about it. You understand? I can be honest. I don't know much. I am faulty. I'm not a great teacher. But here, take this book by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. That will help you. You understand? I may not be good, but he's good. His book is good. And there is those who are following. There is those who are following. So we should hear from them. You understand? We should hear from them. And what will be the result? If I hear from persons who are following, I also will follow. You understand? If I hear from people who are not following, I will not believe them. They cannot convince you. They cannot convince you. Somebody is smoking, can they convince me not to smoke? No, they cannot convince anybody. They are not convinced. You understand? They are not convinced. They are smoking. So how can they convince me? You understand? But someone who is convinced, they surrender to Krishna. Krishna says, Savadamam Tarichaja, Mamikam Sarangaja. Abandon all other varieties of religion and just surrender to me. Just worship me. Become my devotee. Always think of me, Krishna, like this. So those who do that thing, they can say so. You understand? They can say so because they're doing it. And it will have effect. It will have an effect. Example is given that I may have a gun. I may have a gun. And I put blank bullets inside. And it makes a very loud sound. Bang, 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 bang. Like this. But no bullet. It will not pierce the heart. It will not pierce. It will not do any damage. You understand? So this speaking but not following is blank fire. Blank fire. It's just making a noise. Bang, 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 bang. But it's not got any bullets. It doesn't have an effect. You understand? So the person who's following, they will have effect. They will have effect. You understand? So we have to see. We have to see. My spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, would say, look at these Western people. Look at these Western people. Yeah. He would say, look at them. Before, they were eating meat. They were drinking liquor. And they were chasing ladies. And gambling, mental speculation. They were doing all kinds of things. But now, they're not doing those things. They've stopped all those things. Before, they had no interest in God. Only interest in money, enjoyment. But now look at them. They're mad after God. They're mad after Krishna. You see, this is the influence of association with those who are following. You understand? That's the influence. But if we don't follow, we will have no influence. We'll have no influence. You understand? So that will be the result. As far as the postman is concerned, the example of the postman is a simple illustration. It's a simple illustration to say that you also can give this knowledge. Any one of you can be a perfect teacher simply by repeating the words of Krishna. Simply by repeating it. You understand? You can become a perfect teacher. But it does not mean that you are perfect. It does not mean that you are perfect. But somebody who follows, their life becomes perfect. Your words may become perfect by repeating. But it does not mean your activities are perfect. It does not mean your life has become perfect yet. But when you apply it, then your words will become perfect, your actions will become perfect, your thinking will become perfect, and your life will become perfect. And when your life is perfect, then you are ideal teacher. Ideal teacher. The ideal teacher is called Acharya. Acharya. Acharya, he teaches by his example. His example. He's showing by example. You understand? So we say example is better than precept. Example is better than precept. Precept means simply talk. But example means that the living, you're living it. You're becoming peaceful. You're becoming tolerant. You're becoming humble. You're becoming learned. You're becoming devoted. Wise. All these things. All the good qualities. Good qualities develop. Then we can know, oh, yes, devotee. There's a good quality developed. Devotee gets good qualities, then when people see him, they hope Hare Krishna. Like this. They get encouragement. They get encouragement. It doesn't matter what he speaks. He doesn't even have to speak. They just see, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Like this, get encouragement. You understand? But your words will still be perfect. You can still talk about Krishna. Any one of you. You can still give this book. And your words will be perfect. You understand? But better is that you become perfect in your activity, perfect in your thinking, perfect in your character. Isn't that? Then you will be more powerful, and you'll be benefited. You'll be benefited. We're not just hearing Krishna and doing nothing. You know, I'm not speaking for entertainment. I'm not speaking for entertainment. This is my service to Krishna. Like this. And I have to follow it. I have Guru. My Guru is made me promise. Must follow it. Like this, we're chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Every day we're chanting Hare Krishna. Again and again and again. And studying these books and putting it into our life. Like this. And Prabhupada will say, just see the Western, look at them. They're doing it. They're doing it. So you can do it. Prabhupada will say, it's white elephant. White elephants. They're dancing white elephants. He would bring the Westerners to India and say, look. We are dancing. A big fatty guy. And white color. Like this. The Prabhupada said, just see. They're getting so much people encouragement. We have to give encouragement. You know, that if we can do it, you can do it. It's not difficult. Prabhupada says it's not difficult. Easy process. It's not a difficult process. You just need association. You need association. Okay? We finish there?